You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Coming up in the Bahamas tonight, the weekend edition. The nation's chief continuing his push for climate change in Egypt. The Royal Bahamas Police Force stepping up its crime fight. The Bahamas goes to Canada. And in sports, softball action underway in the GSSSA. The Bahamas Tonight, the weekend edition, starts now. Good evening, I'm Desmond Saunders. Welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the weekend edition. Thank you so much for tuning in. The nation's chief, Prime Minister of the Bahamas, the Honorable Philip Davis, leading a delegation to the 2022 United Nations Climate Change Conference, or COP27, in Egypt. Davis will focus on the continued push in the Bahamas to fight climate change and update the public on strides made since traveling to the climate change conference last year. More than 30 Bahamians from civil society will be joining the delegation to fight for our climate justice. A group of young Bahamian climate activists will be participating in the conference for the very first time. The Prime Minister is expected to return to the Bahamas on Sunday, November 13th. Investigations continue into the shooting death of a Palm Breeze male resident. Police say the victim was discovered in the driver's seat of a green Kia, suffering from a gunshot injury to the upper body after gunshots were heard from area residents. The man was pronounced dead on the scene. Police need your help tonight in solving a string of armed robberies overnight. The first on Shirley Street, where a lone gunman robbed a business establishment of an undisclosed amount of cash before taking off in a silver-colored Nissan Bluebird. Also, a lone bandit wearing a white shirt and black pants, also responsible for an armed robbery of a convenience store on Soldier Road. The criminal fled on foot with cash and cigarettes. Any information leading to the arrest of these criminals, you can call the Criminal Investigation Department at 502-991-2 or 3, or Crime Stoppers at 328-TIPS. A 28-year-old male and 28-year-old female of Blair Estates arrested for possession of an illegal firearm, ammunition, and a small quantity of drugs. Police discovering the items at a residence shortly after 1 this morning. Investigations continue. The Royal Bahamas Police Force continuing in its effort to reducing crime, executing a blitz operation Friday termed Safe Shores, where officers from the Royal Police Station and others conducted road checks for unregistered drivers and vehicles, in addition to random searches targeting illegal weapons, drugs, and other contraband. Officer in charge of the Royal Police Station, Superintendent Ezra Maycock.
Throughout the remainder of the year and into next year, we will always be out and show our visibility, and we'll be out there targeting hotspots, prolific offenders, and we'll also be conducting road checks and making sure the public is safe, that whatever's out there they feel threatened of will be taken away from them so they can feel freely to move about during this Christmas season coming.
Now, that operation spanning a number of areas, including East Street, Charles W. Saunders Highway, Fox Hill, and Bernard Road. Officer in charge of the Fox Hill Division, Chief Superintendent Mark Barrett, says officers have amped these specific efforts since January and have included walkabouts and safety talks with the public and schools.
We'll have varied needs, and one of the needs that is top on our list is conflict resolution. And so we go into the classrooms, speak with the young people, we speak about conflict resolution, how they can resolve issues. And so that is coming along tremendously. And so we are continuing to partner with our stakeholders in the community.
Well, it's an age-old issue that's back in the spotlight and a debate that the majority of Bahamians still support. A recent study in the International Journal of Bahamian Studies found that people in the Bahamas influenced by biblical teachings were found to be most likely to support the use of corporal punishment on their children. The study by William Fielding and Virginia Balance of the University of the Bahamas used the responses of 1,570 participants. Of that number, 1,295 respondents, or 58.8%, thought that it would be in the best interests of their child to be disciplined using corporal punishment, and 9.6% indicated that they would use an object to inflict the punishment. President of the Bahamas Christian Council, Bishop Delton Fernander, expressing his views.
Tools can be used to correct behavior. It is not intended to abuse, it's not intended to harm. When done correctly, it produces the desired result. And so from a Christian perspective, these scriptures are in the Bible. You cannot take them out, but we don't want to err on the side of abuse. Sometimes it's unnecessary to use corporal punishment. You can use other tactics that teachers are trained to do in this modern age, but we must have the ability to administer corporal punishment because there must be a penalty for infractions, and they must move up in degrees to the point if you want to correct the behavior. The trees grow into adults, and if we don't bend the tree, the scriptures say when they're young, they move into adults. And then if we remove corporal punishment, we get the kind of society where there's no penalty for crime.
When Christians and
Hi, this is Chief Meteorologist Basil Dane with a tropical weather update brought to you by BTC and CBS Bahamas. Lisa, now just a remnant low pressure system in the southwest Gulf of Mexico is moving towards the north and poses no threat to landmass, but there is an area of low pressure we are very concerned about. This one is expected to form just to the north of Puerto Rico and Hispaniola within the next day or so, a 70% chance of that happening. And our computer models are suggesting that it will move north and then eventually towards the northwest. That will bring it very close to the Bahamas by the middle of this week, and hence we can anticipate some heavy downpours as that system pushes through in the middle of the week, and some strong gusty winds as well. So residents in the Bahamas should continue to monitor the progress of this area of low pressure. This has been a tropical weather update brought to you by BTC at CBS Bahamas.
Also to come in the weekend edition, the Public Service Week winding down. Details of that and more after this.
Almost every journey starts with your car. We spend most of the early stages of our lives anticipating getting our first set of wheels. When that moment finally comes, let AID be there for all your auto needs. Make it yours by accessorizing, maintaining, and repairing your car with AID. Whether you're a professional mechanic, a recent graduate, a full-time mom, or an I can fix that kind of guy, or if you're completely clueless about what your car needs, AID will assist in providing a large variety of auto parts, a diagnostic center, and great customer service. For all life's auto journeys, we're here. AID, all you really need and more.
NBA League Pass is the coolest way to watch the hottest game there is. When threes rain down and superstars heat up. When clutch jumpers splash and your team is fire. You'll be there for up to 40 games a week, any way you want to watch. NBA League Pass. Order now.
This portion of the news was brought to you by Sun Oil Limited Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
Tourism executives in Canada promoting the Bahamas, part of a continuing mission to enhance the Bahamas' global brand and inspire travel to this destination from key stakeholders. Our Cleopatra Murphy has more.
For 12 weeks, the islands of the Bahamas will be traversing through the city of Toronto. As part of its latest promotional campaign involving a streetcar, Executive Director of Global Sales at the Ministry of Tourism, Paul Strawn, is hoping the visuals will lead to booked reservations.
Pinnacle, or the highlight of the campaign, is the streetcar, which we branded the entire car, the exterior and interior, with a call to action to a landing page on our partners' websites, primarily at Canada Vacations and WestJet Vacations, so that we can have a measurement component to the advertising campaign.
Minister of Tourism, Investments and Aviation, the Honorable Chester Cooper, and the tourism team had a chance to tour the city in the Bahamas wrapped vehicle that Strawn says allows the country to reach a broader base.
But what's really unique about it is, notwithstanding the fact that more than 500,000 Canadians ride the streetcars on an annual basis, is that it's a moving billboard, if you will. So unlike other campaigns where we have static billboard, this billboard moves around the city, so that adds that extra value to the campaign.
The card is just one of the ways, along with meetings, a trade show, and reception, that the ministry is pushing the message in the Toronto market that the Bahamas has reopened for business. The Grand Bahama Island Promotion Board is just one of the partners showcasing at the Bahamas themed trade show at Universal Event Space Wednesday night. Carmel Churchill, the board's marketing consultant, says it is an exciting time for Grand Bahama as new flights from Toronto and Montreal are set to begin on December 17th, and the trade show was used to promote activities to do while visiting.
The great thing about this calendar of events is that it's updated on a regular basis. Persons can go to it and take a look at what are the current events taking place in Grand Bahama. And we're certainly excited about that because it really enhances the visitor experience.
Also showcasing was the Bahama Out Islands Promotion Board. L'Oreal Sweeting, the board's marketing manager, says the tourists are more familiar with Nassau and Freeport, but the other islands continue to be an option.
Right here, we're trying to push so everyone knows that we have a 250 air credit for all of our member properties, along with a 2 fly free, to help incentivize more travel into the out islands. And that's something that not only locally we push with our Bahamas 2 fly free offer, it's something that we really are pushing for North America and Europe, just to get the answer out that the out islands is an amazing and magical place to visit.
The next stop on the ministry's Canadian promotional tour is Montreal. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Cleopatra Murphy.
Scores turning out this morning on Meeting Street for the Ministry of Health's Fun Run and Walk. Today's event, one of many activities celebrating Public Service Week. Participants also getting a free health screening and medals. Minister of State for the Public Service, the Honorable Pia Glover-Roll.
Our focus is ensuring that prevention is better than cure, helping our civil servants to understand their health status, and ensuring that they can move quickly in terms of prevention if it is necessary, or the adoption of a healthy lifestyle. So we had a very successful event this morning, which culminates a very successful National Public Service Week 2022.
Glover-Roll pleased with the overwhelming support given by public servants for the week of events across this country.
If you see the images from across our Family V Islands, Abaco, Eleuthera, Exuma, Grand Bahama, all of the islands that participated and ensure that they weren't left out of the celebration, I'm so grateful to them. Next year is a bigger year because it's the 50th anniversary of our nation, and I already hear the buzz amongst public servants about how much bigger and better it's going to be next year. So I'm excited for them. I'm here to support them, and of course I'm here to celebrate with them, because the public servants are the persons who drive the agenda, who do all of the heavy lifting. And
all Marathon residents also pounding the pavement for fitness. Area Member of Parliament, the Honorable Lisa Ramming, along with local organizations hosting the Marathon Health Fair at the Lou Adderley Park. Health screenings also provided for residents. The area MP hopes the initiative encourages Bahamians to adopt healthier lifestyles.
This is Marathon's first annual health fair in the community, that is. And I thought this was so important because day by day we hear about people having stroke, high blood pressure, heart attacks. And so we talk about it, but very little we do to help these persons. And I thought that it was most fitting to invite our partners to come on board. And so we invited all and sundry. We have Marathon residents, other residents who came. And we started actually from 9 a.m., but we had persons here from 7 a.m. willing and ready to get tested. So we have diabetes, we get the flu shot, we get every kind of shot that you need and testing to come on down.
And as for the senior citizens, a special effort was made to ensure that they did not miss out on today's activities.
We also have the One Bahamas transport services. So from today, we had to go to many senior citizens' home and to bring them down here because they had no way of coming. So we were given that free disability mobility bus. So we're so grateful.
A local junket group teaming up to fight breast cancer. The Genesis Warhawks partnering with the Sister Breast Cancer Support Group, dishing out hot meals to the less fortunate. The drive-up breakfast taking place at the Medici Center on Centerville this morning. Group member Nikia Bain.
October being the month recognized as Breast Cancer Awareness Month, we as an organization, we have 2 warriors within our group, and we thought it fitting to just find a way that we can give back to the wider populace that is fighting this war against cancer.
President of the Sister Breast Cancer Support Group, Andrea Sweeting, applauding Genesis for their work in fighting cancer.
We're finding out now some persons are having a difficulty finding their medication because of all the slowness that's coming in with these items, and so we're trying to encourage them along that way. We have the same problem with the porta cats, and so the sad part about it, if they miss that surgery date, then they have to wait to get back into it. And so we're thankful it's been a whole lot better these last few months. So it's coming back, and we want to let persons know that, hey, we're still here to help you get through it regardless to what the situation is.
As we head to the break, we'd like to thank all of our viewers watching us live on our social media platforms. Just in case you missed the news, be sure to head there to catch up. Back after this.
Good to grow, keeping you in the know, keeping you in the know. God, it's good enough to eat, then it's good to grow. It's good enough to eat, then it's good to grow.
Soil, chickens, and mushrooms were all in the mix when Minister of Agriculture, Marine Resources, and Family Island Affairs, the Honorable Clay Sweeting, announced to the media a grant to encourage local farmers to adapt climate-resilient technology. The minister, along with members of the ministry and representatives from the Small Business Development Center, SBDC, introduced the initial recipients of this grant, who had previously applied to the Sustainable Food Growth Grant.
These individuals recognize the government's vision to use innovation to reduce operational costs while increasing productivity. It should be noted that these applicants, through the partnership with SBDC Access Accelerator, will be receiving funding from a separate grant program that we hope to become an annual program to encourage innovation, encourage technology, and encourage new ways of farming in this country.
Among the initial recipients of the grant are Mother Fungus, producer of local mushrooms, Abaco Big Bird poultry producers, and VNet Agritech soil and nutrient content management. According to Samantha Roll, the interim director of SBDC, this additional funding will help these businesses better ready themselves for climate change while continuing to grow domestic food production.
The inclusion of climate-smart technology in our agriculture and food production practices is a step in the right direction to improve the resilience of our food production systems and support the conservation of our natural resources.
In keeping with the goal of future-proofing the farming industry, Minister Sweeting will be traveling with Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Brave Davis to COP27 to address the impact that climate change is having on agriculture in small island states. For Good to Grow, I'm Giorgio Bain.
Shell Unleaded improves your fuel economy, giving increased miles per gallon, allowing you to do more of what you really want. Special additives used in Shell Unleaded improve your engine's efficiency. So go further with Shell Unleaded. Venture out to beaches, Junkanoo, and festivals and bring home memories that will last a lifetime. Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
The Sports Report is brought to you by Hoop Fest in Paradise, December 16th to the 17th at the Kendall G. Isaacs Gym. The best in U.S. and Bahamian high school basketball. Welcome to your Saturday Sports, everyone. I'm Amajal Knowles, topping sports news. Action picking up in the GSSSA sporting calendar as the men's baseball and girls softball season gearing up for their playoff push. 8 games played yesterday at the Blue Hills playing fields. Some of the highlights in senior boys baseball action. Aaron Bailey would defeat C.C. Sweeting 5-0. The winning pitcher was Ladanian McKenzie. Orlando Mackey was tagged with the loss.
The game was a really good game. It was a pitcher's duel today, you know. Unfortunately, they weren't able to score first, and we did, and, you know, we kept the lead all the way through. I have some dynamic pitchers headed by one of our Ladanian McKenzie. You know, he's one of our top stars, a great pitcher. You know, they have a great pitching staff on that side also. The game was close at the beginning, but, you know, we got our runs in, and it was there from there.
In senior girls action, Doris Johnson would blank Anatole Rogers 11-0. Grace Che was the winning pitcher. Amanda Alton was tagged with the loss. Doris Johnson remains undefeated at 5-0 on the season with just 2 games remaining.
They played pretty good. Their batting is still a bit shaky, still fighting with them there, but they're getting there. They're improving. That's all I could ask from them, to do their best and improve. They definitely can make it to the championship, most definitely. They haven't lost yet, and they just keep improving every time. They're doing everything I ask them to do, and they ask them to do, and they're winning.
Yes, it was really good. I have a lot of confidence in the girls. I always encourage them to do good, and I have their back. And I always tell them I'm taking them to championships.
San Antonio sports team also caught up with GSSA President Varel Davis on how the season has been progressing so far.
So far, I think it's going excellent. We started about 2 weeks ago, and we had some little bad weather. We had to postpone a few games, but we're back in full swing. As you see, we had some very exciting game today, and as we continue in another 2 weeks, getting winding down the regular season. But the playoff and championship coming up soon. We will everybody prepared and excited to be back.
And last night, the Providence Basketball Association season kicking off at the Kendall Isaacs Gymnasium was a homecoming game for the University of the Bahamas Mingos, who didn't disappoint their many fans as they would defeat the Mambas Tucker boys 82-65. UB never trailed in the game as their suffocating defense posed many challenges for the opposing team. With the season getting back underway, we caught up with League President James Price on restarting after COVID caused a stoppage of the most previous season.
Well, COVID has passed us so far. We hope we don't have no more BOCO, because right now, sports is the way for young men, and the way the country going right now, we need sports. And you know, if you go around New Providence, you notice basketball is one of the most highest played sports. So right now, this is something for the young men to do, you know. So we'll have some of them not lying around the streets and end up in a problem and so forth.
And class was in session for a number of local coaches. The Bahamas Lawn Tennis Association holding a clinic this morning in conjunction with the International Tennis Federation. The purpose to help grow the sport here at home at the grassroots level and equip the coaches with the necessary knowledge they need to make this possible.
Teaching of the base of tennis, the instruction is very important, because the broader the base, the better. The better the foundation, the better the fundamentals are taught to the individuals, the better they will be able to sustain and stay in the game for a longer period of time. So that's why it's important to create these opportunities that coaches learn to teach the right way how beginners can play the game.
Well, it's very important for us to be able to put on these courses because it helps with the national development of tennis and our athletes. In the course this week, we had individual coaches from a broad section of society. We had participants from Eleuthera, Abaco, as well as Grand Bahama, and we also had a few primary school teachers that have taken this course. So, you know, it's heading us down the direction, hopefully, to be able to integrate tennis into the schools more easily. So we're hopefully going to be able to provide this course for more school teachers going forward, as well as parents and persons who will be interested in getting involved in coaching and providing tennis lessons.
That's been a look at your sports on this Saturday. A check on weather when we return. The Sports Report was brought to you by Hoop Fest in Paradise, December 16th to the 17th at the Kendall G. Isaacs Gymnasium, the best in U.S. and Bahamian high school basketball.
Nobody
Nobody can talk about your business or special event like you can. Do you want a way to bring your message to a large audience? You need a live ZNS radio interview. 5 minutes of airtime to let listeners know directly from you all about your company, product, or upcoming event. And now, for a limited time only, get 5 interviews for 25% off or 10 interviews for 35% off. Call the ZNS sales office today, 502-3800, and get on the radio.
We spring forward and we fall back. So don't forget to turn your clocks back 1 hour. This Sunday, November 6th at 2 a.m. as we adjust to Eastern Standard Time.
Time now for a check on tonight's weather forecast. Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean joins us live in studio with the latest temperatures. Good evening, Basil.
Good evening, Desmond. We have near clear skies outside of our studios. Temperature 83 degrees. The relative humidity at 64%. Easterly winds at 13 miles per hour. The barometric pressure 1,012.3 millibars. That's 29.99 inches, and the pressure is steady. Temperatures around the Family Valley this evening. We're picking up a string of 84s in Marshall, Abaco, Green Tool Key. Also Freeport, Grand Bahama at 84 degrees. 81 in the Berry Islands. Allenstown, Bimini at 82 degrees. 80 in Harbor Island, Rock Sound, Eleuthera, 80 degrees. In Black Point, Exuma, Kemps Bay, St. Andros, 81, 82 degrees in Fresh Creek, Central Andros. Otterstown, Kid Island, 81. Also San Salvador and Rum Key at 81 degrees. Georgetown, Exuma, right about here, 82 degrees. 82s in Ragged Island, Clownstown, Long Island, and Crooked Island. Betsy Bay, Megwana, 80 degrees. Acklands, 80. Matchitani, Nagua, 82. And the Turks and Caicos Islands at 80 degrees. And your boating forecast tonight in the northwestern islands tonight through Sunday. Easterly winds at 12 to 18 knots, wave heights 3 to 6 feet. So caution flags are in place for boaters in the northwestern Bahamas through Sunday. Low tide takes place at 40 minutes past midnight, and a high tide will occur at 5:56 tomorrow morning. In the central and southeastern islands, easterly winds 10 to 15 knots, wave heights 2 to 4 feet over the ocean. And our satellite pictures showing near clear skies over much of the northwest and central Bahamas, but there is this area of low pressure that's developing just to the north of Puerto Rico. The forecast model suggesting that will move towards the north and eventually towards the northwest. So we will see an increase in showers and thunderstorms come the middle part of this next week with some very strong winds as well. Our forecast for tonight, breezy conditions this evening, otherwise mainly clear skies, 77 degrees. And tomorrow we're looking at a mixed bag of cloud and sunshine, a couple of showers very possible, and the breezy conditions continue. 85 degrees for your high temperature, extended weather forecast, isolated showers. Into Monday, they become more scattered and widespread on Tuesday and Wednesday as that area of low pressure makes its way towards the Bahamas. Thereafter, on Thursday, we'll start to see a bit of clearing of that system as it continues to push towards the north. Gotcha.
Thanks, Basil. And before we end our newscast, want to remind you that daylight saving time ends this Sunday, November 6th at 2 a.m. And that means you can turn your clocks back an hour. That also means there will be more light in the morning for you early risers. Once again, daylight saving time ends this Sunday, November 6th at 2 a.m. And that will end the Bahamas Tonight, the weekend edition. Thank you for continuing to make ZNS your #1 news and information network, as only the sun covers the Bahamas better than ZNS. On behalf of the entire team, thank you so much for watching. Have a good night.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.